Where is the gold? We've seen gold prices spiking, we've seen gold demand spiking, and with that, we've seen a lot of demand for gold transportation. We've seen a lot of these large US holders of gold looking to retrieve their gold holdings from Europe. And with all this demand for the transportation of gold, these large gold custodians like the Bank of England aren't being able to meet that transportation demand, that withdrawal demand. And it's led to some speculation that maybe the Bank of England doesn't have all the gold that it says it has. And that has led to speculation that maybe the US doesn't have all the gold at Fort Knox. And we've seen this drama kind of unfold over the past couple of days, and a lot of speculation with the Doge team and other people in government that, hey, maybe all this gold that is supposed to be at Fort Knox isn't there. So in this video, we are talking gold. We're going to talk about the gold at Fort Knox. We're going to talk about the gold at the Bank of England. We're going to talk about some of the problems with gold that this whole situation has highlighted, and we're going to get into some other stuff too. Before we do get into it, please make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the YouTube. Really appreciate your support. I'm also going to put a QR code down below for a Bitcoin tip. If you want to support the channel, feel free to leave me a little Bitcoin tip. Now let's get into it. Gold has been ripping lately. It's closing in on $3,000, which is pretty remarkable. It feels like not that long ago, gold was under $2,000. So it has just gone on quite the run over the past couple of years. But since Trump has gotten into office and he's come up with this aggressive tariff plan, we have seen the price of gold continue to shoot up higher. And that is really due to global uncertainty and all this trade uncertainty. People really don't know what is going to happen over the next 6 months, the next year with these tariffs, with all the global tension, and people are looking to a safe haven asset like gold. The Trump tariffs and trade uncertainties have pushed the price of gold up higher here in the US compared to the European market, and this has led a lot of these larger US gold holders like the banks, entities like JP Morgan Chase and HSBC to want to withdraw their gold from Europe, from the Bank of England, and bring it back to the United States to take advantage of that price gap, to arbitrage it. And the Bank of England and some of these custodians in Europe have had trouble meeting this withdrawal demand. The Bank of England is typically able to transport gold to its foreign customers within a couple of days, but with the gold price spiking and all this withdrawal demand, that delivery time has been pushed back to between 4 and 8 weeks. And this has led a lot of people, a lot of these foreign customers and others to speculate that maybe the Bank of England doesn't have all the gold that they say they have. Now, the thing about gold is it takes time to transport it, right? It's not easy to just send gold across the ocean. There's logistics. You have to secure the gold. You have to make sure that it's safe. So I understand with a lot of withdrawal demand why the Bank of England is having trouble meeting that demand. We know that gold sometimes has to be sent to Switzerland for refinement because the gold has to be a certain size before it can be transported across the ocean. And there's just a lot of logistics that go into it. I'm not sure if the Bank of England has all the gold that they say they have. And to me, this whole situation just kind of feels like speculation from the outside. I haven't really seen any direct proof that they don't have the gold reserve there. But this whole situation really highlights some of the problems with gold. For one, gold is not easily verifiable. How are we supposed to know that these large custodians of gold, these governments that say they're holding gold for the people, or custodians like the Bank of England who say they're holding gold for their customers, how do we know that they're not lending out that gold on the back end? There's not a very good way to verify that that gold is in custody. When we look at an asset like Bitcoin, if the government puts Bitcoin at an address, right? Maybe they create a strategic Bitcoin reserve and they say, hey, here's where the Bitcoin is at this Bitcoin address. Then we can see if they send that Bitcoin somewhere else. So a big problem with gold is it's not easily verifiable. The other big problem with gold is that it's not easily portable. It takes a lot of time and energy to send gold around the world. And when you have a situation like this, where you have all these different entities looking to withdraw gold all at once from the same institution, of course, there's going to be some delays, right? They can't do everything at once. They have to go through all their normal procedures. And really, this is a big problem with gold. Just looking at this situation, I feel like it highlights the problems with holding your gold in another country. Right now, we just have a little price disparity between the price here in the US and the price in Europe. In the United States, gold is trading about $20 higher right now. But imagine if we had a currency collapse or a global world war, and think about all these entities trying to withdraw their gold at once, and maybe these institutions across the ocean looking to hold on to that gold. I just feel like it sounds a little bit risky to me, keeping all your gold at a bank across the ocean. So the great part about something like Bitcoin is you can hold, billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin on a little flash drive, and you can send Bitcoin across the world in under 10 minutes. Whereas if you want to transfer your gold back to your home country, it could take weeks, months, and who knows, you may never get that gold back. We know that people have historically taken gold from other people who have entrusted them with that asset. So just something to think about when it comes to portability and verifiability. I feel like Bitcoin has a big advantage over gold, and that's really highlighted by this whole situation. Now, with all this speculation that the Bank of England maybe doesn't have all of the gold, that speculation is kind of carried over to the United States. And people are questioning whether the United States has all the gold that they say they have. And we actually saw that Senator Rand Paul is urging Elon Musk and the Doge team to audit Fort Knox to check to see if all the gold is there. And Elon liked that idea. He said that that is something we should definitely do. And I do think it's important that we do hold the government accountable. We've only seen Fort Knox open its doors to unauthorized personnel 3 times, and that's not that many times over the past 100 years or so since we've been reserving gold there. The 3 times were in 1943 when President Franklin D. Roosevelt saw Fort Knox, in 1974 when 10 Congress members checked on Fort Knox to ensure that the gold was there around the time when we left the gold standard, and in 2017 Mitch McConnell and Stephen Mnuchin checked on Fort Knox as well. According to the government, there are 147.3 million troy ounces of gold at Fort Knox, and I do think it's good that the government is held accountable. I don't think it's a bad idea to just do an audit and make sure that most of that gold is there. It seems like Elon's behind it. Many people in the government like this idea, and President Trump said that he liked the idea as well. So we'll see if that happens. To kind of recap this video, all this gold drama to me highlights some of the weaknesses of gold and some of the strengths of Bitcoin. If you want to store $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, you can do it on a little device. If you want to store billions of dollars worth of gold, you're probably going to have to find some gold custodians. And we're seeing some of the issues with using gold custodians overseas that some of these banks are dealing with. If you want to send Bitcoin across the world, you can do it in a couple of minutes. If you want to send gold across the world, it could take a lot of time, especially if there is a lot of gold demand. So I think that Bitcoin is the superior monetary asset, the better store of value, and people are going to realize this over time. But with the price of gold heading higher, this is maybe a warning sign, right? It's telling us that there is a lot of fear and uncertainty out there in the markets, and people are turning to a safe haven asset like gold. So maybe that's trying to tell us something. Maybe we could see people shifting out of the stock market and other risk assets and into an asset like gold. And that's something we need to think about and monitor heading forward. That's going to wrap it up for this video. If you didn't like and subscribe, please make sure to do that now. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.